10 seconds. Here we go. 5, 4, fading on 3, 2, 1. The Esther Davis Show. Your
Top for the day
hot.
to you. This is Esther Davis. I am Esther Davis, and I have guests here with me today, of course. We are celebrating a most wonderful time, a period of the year that we all love. We love the fashions, we love Black history, and I have a mastermind here in math, a mastermind of math. I've been calling it math for an awful long time right now. So you have to welcome my guests. In the purple, we are doing a celebration. We're doing a celebration of life for a, let's call her a fashion diva, Miss Deborah Jones. So this month, we're going to do a lot of remembering her, what she did. Oh my gosh, it is going to be amazing. You're going to learn an awful lot. We will be on Facebook. Share it with somebody. Call them up and tell them it's live. And if you haven't been to one of her fashion shows over the last 20 or 25 years, you missed a treat. Kenneth Everett, my goodness, the mastermind of math. I like that.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And I've been working with Kenneth a long time. He has two lovely daughters. And ladies and gentlemen, mothers and fathers, he teaches 4-year-olds how to do geometry. It's a mastermind of a show for Black History Month. So we're going to get started. I've got about 50 minutes to get all this done. Shar, Hyter, how are you?
I am absolutely wonderful, ecstatic, so glad to be on the Esther Davis Show. My mentor, who's produced 2 shows for me. So, you know, you are just the most dynamic people that I know, you know.
So.
I get it from I have been so blessed to have so many great
I remember that show.
Women in my show.
I remember that show. Shauna has this fabulous personality, and of course, you notice in the blonde hair. So she's what in the early days, Ken used to call a crossover. She did the white shows, the Hispanic shows, and the Black shows. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Wonderful.
You look great. You remember Deborah?
Deborah, I'm talking about decades of sisterhood and mentorship, and I'm smiling right now because I can still hear her and feel her energy. Shar, sit up, hold, do this. So I know I can feel her. So I'm trying to watch and make sure I'm doing everything correctly.
Yeah. And that's one of the pictures that the lady we're talking about. We're remembering Deborah Jones and her work, which was massive in education also, because you have to own the educational side.
Exactly. Deborah was just phenomenal. She was always wanting to mentorship young women. And she was a part of a fashion expo after school program for junior high students. And so she brought me on her team, and it was and I was taught in Richardson. So it was just absolutely wonderful. And
Richardson, Texas, right?
Richardson, Texas, Richardson ISD. But she also did it for some of Dallas and other areas. But I taught over at the Richardson ISD schools. And it was just phenomenal. We had such a great time teaching junior high school girls about etiquette, everything that every young girl that is going to go into womanhood should know.
Well, we have an authority here on women because Kenneth has 2 daughters. And I'm going to say this out loud in the same way, right?
Right. 40 years.
Really?
40 years.
Kenneth Everett. So raising daughters, is that any different from raising sons?
For me, I wanted sons.
Uh-huh.
But when you have a relationship with God, you just thankful for what God gives you.
That's right.
And my daughters and I, we have a powerful relationship.
You always did, even when they were little girls. I mean, I can remember us being at Don't Believe the Hype and the program that we're going to call names. We call names on this show. Don't Believe the Hype was a Cheryl Smith program. And then, that was another one, Real Men Cook. Real Men something. That was Terry what? Terry Allen. These are the 2 large groups that had events annually, along with the fashion shows that we have. And your daughters were always a part of it.
Always a part of it. One of my daughters is poetry. I mean, she's doing poetry since she was like 6, 7 years old.
Mhm.
Still writing, unbelievable. But for me, Ms. Davis, the thing that I think that men need to do when they raise girls is spend the same kind of quality time
Wow.
that you would spend with a little boy.
Mhm.
Give that same time for your daughter. Find what she's interested. Like my daughter played tennis, did karate, did piano. Just go and pick it up because you build that bond with them and it lasts. So that when they decide that they're looking for a man, he's got some standards he got to go. He's got some standards he got to
be
meet.
like my dad.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's made a big difference.
Wow.
But another thing is that I got a chance to let my daughter meet people like yourself. She knew Deborah. We knew Deborah. And it makes a difference when you can surround your children around positive people.
That is so important. I raise boys. Two boys, other 2 boys, and I have 5 grandsons. But it's whatever they are, you gotta spend time with them. But you're from a big family.
6 boys and 1 girl. And here's the thing
That was
that's
a
really,
roaring household.
yeah, but here's the thing that's so positive is that when you have a mother that introduces all the children to Jesus Christ when they're young,
I'm so happy you said that.
it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
One thing about my mom that I love is that each one of us thought we was special.
You're kidding.
No.
How did she manage that?
Because she knew that we were all different. And like with my mom and myself, we can joke around, but she can't. She can't joke around, right?
Yeah.
And it made a big difference. And that's for me. That's the one thing that I always say is that a mother has to show so much love to her children.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. And you have to do this on a continuous basis. But what sometimes I say this, not regretfully, but I sort of miss motherhood because when everybody left home, it was like, you missed the noise. You'd be surprised. You missed the noise. You don't think I'm here to warn you. You don't think you're gonna miss it, but you're going to miss it, and you're gonna miss everything is clean and neat. There's no a ball in the hallway. It's none of that kind of thing. But it's important. I'm so happy you said that. It's good to see both of you.
It's always good to see.
I know.
I'm like that too.
It's like Christmas. It's like Christmas for me. It's like Christmas for me.
How did you get those boots?
Well,
We got it.
I don't know. I was thinking of Deborah the day that I bought these boots. 2 of my favorite people. Now the boots just happened. I got this hat from my darling godmother, Apostle Dr. Linda Holiday. I must tell you for Christmas. And she was like, "That's my daughter." And so I was going and I was looking for some boots. And I was driving and I just thought of Deborah. And it was like, "Oh, girl, go over to this store. Just look." I was like, "That little store?" She's like, "Go in there." And when I saw it, I said, "Now those are something that Deborah
They are
got."
splendid.
Yes. So
Awesome.
this is my Deborah Jones. And I was like, "What am I gonna wear?" And so I could just see Deborah. And I'm like, "Deborah, Shar," the way she would say my Shar. And I was like, "Deborah, what should I put on?" She says, "Well, I like purple." I was like, "Okay, I'll do purple." And she's like, "But you have to bling it out." So I was like, "Let me put the ensemble on." So dressy and boots. This is a Deborah's
Looking
look.
great, looking cute, looking beautiful. What is clothes? Does clothes make the man? I need both of you to answer that. Does clothes make the man? Why do we dress up? What is important about that?
Well, I think dressing up for me, everybody's different because I'm like a country chic girl. So this is my country chic because I'm a boots and bling type of girl, but I'm a country swag. So these boots give me the swag, but they're blingy, so they dress me up. But then the hat kind of tilted. So I like the versatility. I like versatility.
Well, I'm looking at because I'm a fashion Easter, but when I look at Kenneth doesn't have socks on.
I do. You just can't see them.
Oh, okay.
That's a fashion too.
A
A lot of men don't wear socks. I've noticed that some men are into socks.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's like a huge thing. I
It's
mean,
a
the
huge
sock
fashion
game,
trend.
the sock trend is really hot. I mean, and they're like expensive, like $30 and $40 a pair.
A pair of socks.
Yeah, there's socks. There's a little sock trend that's going on, and you men that are in the sock trend know what I'm talking about.
But you know, it is important to look good.
Yeah.
Because now I see this generation of walking around. I gotta say this because we have a generation now that doesn't give as much pride
Right.
to the way they look.
Right.
What do you?
You know, and well, I tell you, I'm glad you brought this up because, you know, coming up in the 60s, you know, 7 kids, you know, my dad worked all the time.
You worked for your dad, didn't you?
Yeah, I worked for
Do
him.
I remember that
Yeah, I
correctly?
worked for him. He took care of me. He paid me well. He paid me well. But coming up, and you have all these brothers, well, you trade clothes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
You know,
yeah.
and I went to all black school from first to the 8th grade.
Really?
My brothers and I integrated Churchill Park swimming pool where we saw signs that said white only.
Okay, tell us what part of town we're in.
North Dallas.
Okay, North
North
Dallas.
Forest Lane.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
North
so
Dallas.
like
I
the
graduated
Hamilton
Richardson High
Park
School.
area.
Yeah,
Oh, you went to
went to Richardson. But anyway, you know, when you grow up and you go to the,
Wow.
you know how black school, they kind of score on you talking about your stuff.
Go on, you.
Yeah, you remember that,
Yeah.
right? So he said, "Oh
Yes.
man, that's your brother's shirt. He had that on
Yes,
yesterday."
Oh wow.
You know, and so as I got older, because when I graduated, I was considered the best dressed in school. Right, because when you come up and you get ridiculed and you get talked about, you start saying, "Man, when I can start buying me some clothes."
I'm gonna buy me some
Yeah.
clothes. That's right. I'm a shop only at the very
Yeah,
best.
and
And I
it made a
realize
difference.
it.
It makes a difference because you
Yeah.
just feel you know.
So what happened? All of a sudden, 30 years later, approximately 30 years later, we have blue jeans, tattered blue jeans. We have tattoos. We have a different, let's call it different dress.
Yes.
Not the Deborah Jones boots that she would probably wear anywhere she wanted to wear them. Not the large family. And I'm saying you have 7 children, 8 children in a family, and everybody dressed well.
Yeah.
So what happened?
You know, I think what happened is that we got comfortable.
That's good.
We just got comfortable looking any kind of way.
That's right.
Just got comfortable. And you know, the thing is, and I'm sure this is so important because my niece is she's a professor at North Texas,
Mhm.
and she said from a little girl, because my mom kept all the grandkids, right?
Okay.
I always kept their house really neat, and she told me, she said, you have to make sure that you look presentable when you go out.
Mhm.
And my niece said, because of grandma, I always try to, because of her, she combed her hair. She said, I always try to have my hair looking good. And she does. But she said that came from grandma. From my
growing
mom,
up, yes.
always combing her hair. Always just fixing them up. And now, parents have gotten so busy to they
Busy
miss
or lazy?
both of
Just
them.
asking. I'm just
Both
asking
of them.
questions.
Both of them.
Yeah.
Well, they don't take out that kind of time that the children need. They just don't take it out. They don't take out that time.
And you see it when they go out.
Oh, you see it.
Yeah, you see, we're talking to my very special guest, Kenneth Everett, we're talking about math. We've got to get around to his math program. And Deborah Jones lookalike today. That would be Miss Charlotte Hyter. And her thigh-high boots, y'all.
Oh yes.
Yes, yes.
Well, you know, Deborah was much taller than me, so she
Was
really.
she really?
Yeah, Deborah's probably about 2 inches taller.
Yeah,
than me.
she's-
But we wore the same size shoes, so she would have definitely had these on and wore them well. Yeah.
We're talking about the beauty of fashion and how important it is, and that it should be a daily ritual for you. I want to start with Kenneth on a serious note on the math world, because now we're seeing that the digital world is math, the aviation is math, the chips are going to be math. So our whole world is now turning to the art of math. What are you doing for kids?
What I do is that I understand the importance of algebra.
Okay.
And I try to share this with parents because your child could be one of those students that excels all the way up to 7th, 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Now he has to start dealing with variables, which are letters. He's got to do y equal to mx plus b.
Okay.
Now that throws a child out because of the fact that you start to associate certain numbers with variables.
Okay.
And so what I try to let parents understand, because He blessed me to be able to explain some things.
Mhm.
And I understand that. And the one thing I understand is that when God blesses you, there's a responsibility
Yeah.
that goes with
Yeah,
that.
you got a responsibility.
You know, and I always share this, Miss Davis, is that the Holy Spirit says, I saved the best for last for you. Because I knew you'd do right by my people.
And
But-
you keep my word.
But if you don't,
Yeah.
when your life is over, I'm going to show you all the people that you could have made an impact on their lives.
Mhm.
And that's going to be on you.
That's a sermon.
I was crying. Because I'm like, why you chewing me?
They got to that spirit.
Yeah.
When did you get that revelation? When did that happen?
I didn't go straight from college into the classroom.
Okay.
So my mindset was totally different from
Oh,
teachers.
really? Oh, okay.
And then plus my degree, I majored in math and I minored in psychology. See, and so what happened with me is that I wanted to be a psychiatrist, but then the more I studied it, the more I understood if you're a passionate person and you care about people,
Mhm.
you're gonna take their problems home with you.
All right.
I'm like, I can't do that because I'm a caring person, you see.
Right.
And so I did with the math, and then I worked with my dad's company, and then I went into teaching because I wanted to be the best father that I could possibly be.
What we have here is a college factual, is ethnic diversity of math. What you're looking at is 75% versus 25%. So in the white race, explain this to me, Ken, 75%
Degrees.
with degrees, 25% with math degrees or other. Where are the African Americans in that equation?
Wow.
You know, one of the things that happens, and this is what I'm trying to get the parents to see, your children have to start falling in love with math.
Huh? Your children have to start
But
falling in love with math.
That's good.
They have to. But the only way you can do that, you have to start early. That's what the Kenneth Math Revolution does. Is I introduce algebra
Yeah.
to 3, 4, 5 years old.
Yeah, 4-year-olds, because
Easy.
that's one of the first shows we had.
I know.
Yeah, it was 4-year-olds, and I'm wondering how do you get a 4-year-old to concentrate on math?
You know how? Because the Kenneth Math Revolution, we write it on your brain
Right, that's right.
before you write it on your paper.
It's etched in the cerebral cortex.
Come on.
Ah,
That's it.
but that worked because
That's great.
Shar, I went to a class,
Mhm.
and he got their attention. It was about 6 kids.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're kids. Within about 10 minutes, he had their attention. That was I remember more. Within about another 15 minutes, the kids started telling him what you just taught. Remember that? It was a simple thing.
Yeah. Let me make it so simple for them so
Okay.
people understand. See,
Okay.
when I tell people, it took me so many years to get people to understand that I could do this. The first opportunity I got really was for the Boys and Girls Club. And I want to share this, Ms. Davis, because this
Okay.
is so important for the parents to hear.
Okay. Cool.
I went and presented. They was like, well, his personality made the kids like, okay, let's let him do it. Right? So I got 5-year-olds. Like they can Google it. They can Google it and see Kenneth Everett Boys and Girls Club
Okay.
and McKinney, right?
Mhm.
The 5-year-olds were so excited. But here's what I never told them they were wrong.
Ah.
Okay.
You know what I tell them? You're almost right.
You almost right. I like that.
Because they give the energy still going.
Yeah. Okay.
So how many times
I like
when you
that.
tell a kid you're wrong, she just give up?
Mm.
So I wanted people to see. So now 5 and 6-year-olds, they got all this energy. Then I got the 7 and 8-year-olds. They want this energy. They're afraid because they got beat up. They got told, "What you're wrong. That's not right. That's not right." You know. And so for me, I tell parents is this: you have to start early. So imagine if this kid it's a sight thing, right?
That's where psychology
Yeah,
kicks in.
you tell a kid. You were doing algebra when you were in when you was 4 and 5 years old. You tell me you can't do 2nd grade work. See, it's a mind thing.
Mhm, mhm.
And here's how I make sure that parents understand it. And this is gonna make sense to you. If you were to take an algebra book and you open it up, it's a blank page. Because I build animated videos,
Yeah, that's what you told
but
me.
I don't use cartoons.
Ah,
Because I'm not trying to entertain your child. I'm trying to educate your child.
All right.
that's important. That's
You
important.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
You don't need to see me. I'm not important. It's what I say is important. So my program is set up where if you had, let me break this down. I tell people this is the child's brain. It's blank. Okay. You put some mashed potatoes on there, you put some corn on there, and you put a steak. Well, you can get anybody to feed the kid the corn, the steak, the mashed potatoes, but the steak is the algebra. Leave it up to me because I'm going to cut it up into little bitty pieces and then feed it to the child.
All right.
And he'll get it every time.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because see, you got this blank page. Now here's my thing is, you open up an algebra book, and it's a blank page. The page is built in front of your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna paint a picture because remember we train eyes to do algebra, right? So you got this blank page, and then a blue dot bounces on the page. Then another blue dot bounces on the page, on this white page. Then a line appears through it, black line, and the voice says, it only takes 2 points to make a line. Okay? Then some more blue dots bounce on the line. Then the voice says, a line is made up of many points. Just like when your teacher tells you to get in line, each student represents a point. Okay? Then the little point at the end starts to bouncing up and down because I'm out. It's just bouncing up and down. Then it says the arrow, the point at the end that's bouncing up and down lets you know that the line continues on, and the dots continue to follow the line.
Wow.
That's
intriguing me.
Yeah.
I might can learn some algebra. You know, I barely saw my way. I see my way through algebra and geometry, so I'm learning.
Visual.
It's all visual, and when you paint that picture, because I've seen him do it, when he paints that picture, it's like they get so quiet because it's something that they have not seen in action before. So why did you tell me one time? You told me one time that they didn't want algebra taught to children.
No, I'm so glad that I didn't go straight out of college into teaching because I would have been conformed. It would have just messed up. You see what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah.
I would have known with a whole different attitude, because I tried to tell them, and I got out. I had to start my own company because it didn't make sense to me. Algebra is already a struggle for kids, right? So you know that the end of the year is going to be harder than at the beginning of the year. So why not gradually introduce some of the things at the end of the year, at the beginning of the year? And I did this. I'm going to show you. I did this with my ESO kids that couldn't hardly speak.
What's ESO?
The kids that English, they struggle with English. Okay. Those kids scored higher than all the rest of the kids that took algebra that could speak English. Let me tell you what I did though. Because I took and I set them in groups. See, I didn't think it was fair for the kids that couldn't speak to be lined up in a row.
Okay.
You can't ask questions. So what I did was I put them in groups of 4. And then I said, I took out the one that could speak the best for his English, right? I said, you are going to be the group leader, and your grade is already an A. All I need you to do is make sure everybody else understands what's going on. And I taught vocabulary so that when they saw a math word, they knew what to do. That's the biggest problem now is kids don't understand vocabulary when it comes to math.
Vocabulary, no. Can they read?
Now you're going even deeper because our kids are struggling to read now too.
Didn't Everett do something like that? I mean, the after school program, what did you do? How
the
effective were the after school program?
Well, the after school program was more directed to the etiquette. But in the etiquette, we would also teach them. So some of them did not know how to read. And I have to give you one incident. I was teaching a class and we were talking about inspirational people.
Okay.
And it happened to be famous people. And I was very, very shocked at how low self-esteem that the children had.
Oh,
and this was in Richardson, so it was all ethnicities. And with those ethnicities, just the low self-esteem of those young girls just crushed me. And I remember giving them a motto and something to say every morning. When you wake up in the morning, you look in that mirror and you tell yourself that I love myself. I am beautiful. I can do anything that I want to. And I would make them recite that. But the vocabulary is crucial because they don't understand. There were kids, and that's been almost 10 years ago, that didn't even know who Martin Luther King was.
Oh, and that break your heart. That break your heart.
This was 10 years ago, they didn't even know who he was. They didn't know any history. I remember there was one beautiful young, and she was an Asian girl, and she was in there, and her self-esteem was so low because she thought she was not good with math. And she was, saying how hard her parents were on her because she was not an A student. And, I dealt with a lot of issues. And then, there was one little Hispanic girl that was in there, and her issue was that, by the time she's 15, she should be married with kids, and that she could never.
That's what a culture is.
And then I saw, and then there was a little Indian girl, and that's when she could, her thing was she liked another little boy, and her family, she could never marry. So when you talk about the after school programs, which they stopped funding those programs. So I lost the job. Okay, right. So I lost my little teacher job on that. So, but there are so much emotional that's going on that's affecting children now. And like you were saying earlier, I love what you said, and I don't want to forget it. You said you almost had it right.
Makes a difference.
It makes a big difference. Yeah. So when we stop, we start talking about the solutions, so what is the solutions to these problems? And with mathematics, and just like you were saying, cause I was learning. I was like, oh, that's good. I got to tell that to my little 4-year-old granddaughter. I got to get her in that program because it's making sense. Everybody's just pushing the kids in front of computers. We're just leaving them to basically raise themselves now. So I've encountered a lot of, and I deal with a lot of youth that are raising themselves. They're just the internet. They're raising themselves. So everybody's so busy and giving them things, but they're not spending the time that they need emotionally. So we're dealing with an emotionless generation of children. They have no
to talk and
And
emotions.
you're making chills.
They don't. Yeah, I mean,
they don't have.
Wow.
They don't have any emotions. They don't have any feelings. And once you start talking to them, it's like, it's like a light bulb, and you tell them you're beautiful. I understand. You're right. That is another way to say things. And so if we can get these parents to understand that, you're giving them things, but the things are not, they're figuring it out by themselves. They need love. They need affection. And that's something that, we all must work on. Yeah. And so that's what I miss so much about Deborah, because we would probably have so much done now. And I'm so glad, Esther, that we're doing this, because she was so about love. And also with the proms, we did the prom for girls.
Please bring that up.
Yeah, and so
this is February. We're getting ready for prom.
And Deborah would go, and we would get people to donate all of the prom dresses for young girls that did not have a prom or dress or something, and they absolutely free, and they could come, and it was just, I remember we did it one year at the convention center off of
Convention Center?
It was down on the bottom floor. Yeah, they donated, because it was free. It was a huge back then. So I think we've got to get back to giving. We've got to really get back to giving to the young men and the young women. As a community, we must get back to the roots of where we came from. We've got to get back to the roots. So I miss you, Deborah, so much. Thank you for thank you for flying around here, giving me everything to say, and keeping me from being teary-eyed.
So tell me, you walk into a classroom, and I got to take a break, but I got to ask you about these foods again. You walk into a classroom, what do the kids say? You got their attention. That was one of the things that was a staple.
Oh, yeah.
You always had to look good.
We had to be. That was one thing when Deborah, we started the program. It was like, Shar, you have to look like models every day, because these young girls, I love imitating Deborah because she was so sweet, and she just, it was just the way that she did it, and she was just so articulate and so loving. And, I learned so much from her, just watching her teach girls that no matter your size, no matter.
We gotta bring that up.
Nothing. Big, small, short, dark, light skin. As a matter of fact, I wrote a song called "I'm Free."
You wrote a song
called "I'm Free."
Are you gonna sing for us?
I might do that.
Please do.
I'm Free is about. I'm Free is about.
On that point, I gotta take a look at it. I'm gonna give you time to get the song together. So that my guest, Shar Hyter, who's a singer, a fashionista, a model, and of course the great mastermind, Mr. Kenneth Everett. You're watching yesterday, so I'll be right back.
In a country where 1 in 5 people is affected by a mental health condition such as depression, anxiety, suicide, or an addictive behavior, it is time for all of us to step up and change the conversation by talking about mental health. Together, the power is ours. We can be a generation that makes a difference. For more information, visit mentalhealth.org.
I know that was a hard one because I was in the classes.
Kids have been put somehow they go, especially math. See, because if you slow in math, everybody in the classroom know you slow in math because you was in their class and you were before that.
Yeah, oh, that's right. Oh my God.
You see what I'm saying? So now that kid goes in there and he's afraid. And what I always tell kids, I said, if you want to make Mr. Everett mad, let me hear you talk about somebody. See, because I got to make that kid comfortable. And when I talk, I always talk about the slowest kid. Because the slowest kid don't ask questions. So I would have to incorporate in my instructions.
Make them feel like they're part of the class.
To answer the questions that the slowest kid would want to ask.
But I want to say this real quick. I want to learn so much about your program because mathematics is crucial.
Okay, here we go. Coming back.
That we have.
Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And we're back. You're watching Ester Davis with Jeanette Hyter and Kenneth, and we got this great conversation going on. We don't even stop doing the commercial. We keep talking. Okay, Shar, you were making a point. You were telling him how important this is. I'm sorry.
Yes, and this is so important for all the listeners. I'm so excited to finally meet you and learn about this program because I think mathematics must be implemented in every child.
Yeah.
Every child, because if they learn mathematics, they can do anything and they can accomplish anything. Mathematics and music, mathematics and medicine, mathematics.
Come on.
And it is evolution. Without math, everything, architect, everything deals with numbers.
Right.
And because we are not teaching our children mathematics, that's the reason they are behind. I think every school, every parent must invest in making sure that their kids are good with mathematics. They must accomplish this, and they must accomplish it. Like you said, you almost got it right. I mean, if somebody would have told me that, I probably would have seen my way. I just seen my way through algebra. I really honestly did because it was so confusing. Algebra 1 was okay. Algebra 2 got more confusing. Then when I got to geometry, I was like, Lord, now was like tripping up. I'm never going to graduate. What's going to happen? But if someone would have came with a system, maybe when I was younger, like you're saying, start at 4 and 5 years old. Because at 4 years old, by the time they're 5, we know what they're going to be. So we have to get, by the time they're 5 years old, you can already tell where a child is going to go. So between that age, my little 3 and 4 year old grandkids, they already know learning Spanish. In the third grade, I was fluent in French. In the third grade, because that was, even though I forgot it, let me clarify that, but I can't say a few things. But I had knew it, and my French teacher was like, "Oh my gosh, you're picking this up, parlez-vous français? Comment allez-vous? Comment ça va? Ça va bien, merci et toi?" But I knew that in the third grade, and I'm an adult, and I'm still going off third grade lessons. So I'm so excited because this is something that the school system needs to implement. There needs to be funding for mathematics and music. Those are 2 things that are so crucial to our world. Mathematics, music, and medicine, the 3 M's.
How?
3 M's. I think I need to start a foundation.
Listen
Mathematics.
to
I need some money because I want kids to get that for free.
And you heard it here on the Ester Davis show first. They need
Don't
to
take
get,
my idea. I'm just being sarcastic. That's the comedic side.
Oh, you ready for the song yet? Kenneth and I are waiting.
Hey, I'm already a fan. Can I get you on the
You know what? I'm gonna dedicate a song to Deborah in a little bit, but I don't want to get too emotional at the end.
Just a couple of bars, because I have heard you sing. Yeah, I have. I have one of your tapes. I have one of your CDs.
Okay, I'll just do something. Let me do something for Deborah.
Give us 2 bars for Deborah.
You are so beautiful to me. Can't you see? You're everything that I've hoped for. Okay, that's it.
And that's good.
Okay, she said too little. You know, I'm just a
That's
little
good.
bit.
My
That's
name
good.
is
Definitely good.
Shar
That's good.
Hyter. Her name is
Yeah.
Shar Hyter. Gonna take a break. I'll be right back. She's singing more with Deborah Jones. and Esther
Deborah.
Davis.
We love you so much.
All right.
Hold on. Anybody quiet?